Okay, so let's finish up this discussion on baby daddy drama. Oh, yes, you can see my Tower of Power t-shirt. How do I do this? Oh, there we go. Tower of Power. Yes, went to see them last year. Anyway, let's talk about this stuff. Okay, so you got these women, and they're single. They may or may not have a child, but they're dating a man who does. He may even have more than one. So you are concerned. You're not sure you want to do this baby daddy thing, and I can't blame you. So let's go over some of the drama that other women have experienced in baby mamas, because these chicks, I don't know, some of them just not wrapped too tight. So let's start with number one. The bitch is crazy. Number one, she's just crazy. Okay, they may have had some, like a bad breakups. He did some egregious stuff, or something happened, and so there's a lot of hard feelings. It's not like she necessarily wants him back. She just wants him to suffer. She wants she wants him to feel some pain, and but what she'll do is, if she finds out that he has a new relationship, right? She'll play those games that we talked about in the earlier segment, but she also will do things that will she escalates. Okay, she may like start breaking out windows in people's car, puncturing tires, letting the airs out of tires. I guess you can't put sugar in tanks anymore because everybody's thing got a lock on it. But these are the kind, they'll come to your job, they'll come to your house, they'll harass you on the phone, they'll stalk you on social media. They just act a zip damn fool. So she will go out of her way rather, to try to hurt him through you. And see, that's where I draw the line. It's like the first time of any kind of crazy bitchery, I'm up and out. You don't even have to worry. We don't even need to say goodbye. You just be looking at the spot where I used to be, and it's just going to be empty. Okay, so that's one. Number two, and this seems to be a big one. She doesn't take your relationship, the two you have, seriously. And it's mainly because she doesn't feel like she has to. There's something about the way that man is interacting with her that leaves a door open. I mean, he's not really dropping the hammer on her, because otherwise she would stop. Now, see, like for me, for instance, if I were a dude and I was with a new woman, and I'm gonna do what I need to do for my kids, but I want you out of the situation as much as possible, then I would say that. And if we needed to go to court to reinforce that, we would do that. We would have we'd have to pay extra money. So, that would come out your pocket too. But we're going to have a central pickup and drop off place that is operated by the county. And they all of them have those. You pick up there, they're staffed by social workers. They have medical staff on board in case the kids get sick or whatever. You take the kids there, they watch them until the other parent comes, and then you take them on. And it's based on an hourly rate. And you can actually do visitation there too. They have rooms, they have TV, they have games and stuff, and sometimes pianos and whatnot. So the parents who can't take the children away can have a very nice visit there. Some of them have like garden areas and playground sets. I mean, they have it really set up nice. That's here in California anyway. And so the parent will have, their 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever, with the kids under the watchful eyes of those social workers and police officers and medical staff that's there. And then when it's your visitation over, you kiss your kids goodbye, you get up and you leave. And so, even if we had to go through a situation like that, so I didn't have to come to her house and she didn't have to come to mine, that's what we would do. I would get a restraining order on her ass. And then I would tell her, you keep this shit up, I'm going to take the kids and you won't get shit. How about that? And, let her know, you better stay in your lane, because this is some shit that you don't want to go down this path. So, this other letter came in, and this woman swears that her boyfriend says up and down he doesn't have any feelings for his baby mama, and that everything was dead, but he deletes stuff off of his phone because he doesn't want her to see it, telling her that it's because he knows it's going to make her upset, right? She is saying that the woman doesn't respect the relationship, but she's threatening to use the child against him. She never gets to see the child as it is, he claims, because the baby mother doesn't want their child around him. That's bullshit. He just don't want to see the kid, and he's using her as an excuse to, so she'll feel guilty instead of knowing that he's just a deadbeat. And so she feels like I had to swallow her disrespecting me, my relationship, and my family because she has a 2 year or 3 year old or something. And she said numerous things about my child. I'm supposed to just act like nothing's happening. She keeps sending him messages, and she won't stop even if he tells her to. And the icing on the cake in this situation is they've been together for several years, and he cheated when they had, he cheated with this baby mama on her. So it's like you do this, you got to deal with all this disrespectful drama from this chick. Plus, she's the one that he cheated on you with. No, nah, that would be a little bit too much. So she feels like it's the woman that's tearing her apart from her relationship. It's not the woman, it's your boyfriend that's doing that. So that brings me to point number 2, where she uses the child to manipulate him. These are random phone calls, allegedly regarding the child, when she knows that he's with you and it's nothing urgent. It's not like a medical crisis or anything. It's just some bullshit that she could wait till the next day to say. But he's left, he picks up the phone and sits there with you waiting for his attention while he talks about somebody, little Johnny built a block tower, something like that. And yes, he feels responsible for his child, but he has to set boundaries with the baby mama about timing of calls and frequency of calls, and at which time she is not allowed to call unless it is a dire medical emergency where they need blood and you the only one with the matching blood type. Other than that, if it's not life or death, you see the kid in the morning. Broken bones, they have those all the time. Rashes, measles, mumps, colds. I mean, you know what I mean? That's nothing. I'll see the kid tomorrow. That's not an emergency. Don't wake me up and don't interrupt what's going on over here with some simple shit just because you want me to be over there with you versus over here with my woman. No. And see, he didn't do that. And these guys, they'll be all friendly and playful and stuff, and because sometimes they're nervous that this woman, will, quote, not let him see his kids, but that's not true. All they have to do is go to court. The courts are there. They want fathers to have a relationship with their child. So you go to court and you document how she's not allowing it. Phone calls or times you went over there and she didn't open the door, whatever. Document all that stuff. If you have witness statements, get their names and numbers too. And then take her ass to court and let's see what happens. But see, if you guys aren't willing to do that, then shut up about, she keeping your child from you. You're keeping your child from you by lack of action. And another point that women need to understand about this baby daddy stuff, this is, I said 2 before. That was actually number 3. This one's number 4. You will never ever come first in his life. You'll never come first. If he's a good dad, that is. And that's how it's supposed to be. Because his kids are minors, those are children, and they need him until to help them become solid adults. So you got to understand there's going to be times, just like a man dating a single mother, there's going to be emergency with the kids. Little Johnny got sick. The babysitter fell through. You're going to have to cancel dates at the last minute. You're going to have to cut dates short and go run home because some mess happened. So, or the kid, you getting ready to get busy and then the kid starts screaming, having a nightmare or something. There's all kind of stuff that's going to happen that you're going to make it very clear to you that you're not the priority here. If you can't handle that, then dating a single parent is definitely not for you. Number 5. This is the guy that he just sits back and like whatever the woman wants to do, he lets her do it. Basically, she dictates everything, and she has full control over the interaction between him and those children, as well as the interaction between him and you. She controls everything, and he allows her to do it by never putting really his foot down. Then let's talk about where was I? God. Okay, number 6. You have to get along with the kids. Now, on this channel are some videos. I'm renumbering my things here because I realized I messed up. On this channel are some videos about badass kids and how they impact your relationship. Man, you need to take a look at that. I mean, I directed it for men for women who have the bad kids dating a man, but you can easily flip it around. And, it doesn't really matter. And you got to realize sometimes that these kids, they're agents for the mother. It's like I can't think of any other way. It's like in the Matrix. They're agents, and they pop up and they have every reason to be there. They be going through your drawers. They be getting information, taking pictures of stuff they shouldn't be taking stuff out your house. Saying rude and nasty, snarky things to you that they heard their mother say. So I mean, it's all kinds of issues there because they're going to be trying to break you up so that daddy will be free to go back to mommy, right? And then you got to also consider the fact that how many kids have, issues like learning disabilities, ADHD. They might have some kind of physical defect or, something where they need all kind of extra help with things or whatever. And so you being the person that's with this man, especially if you all live together, you're going to be you're forced to step into that mothering role, whether you want to be there or not. You're going to have to help take care of these kids. And, if you don't have the kind of patience, like some people haven't really been around kids, they were only child or they're the youngest in their family. So they haven't really been around babies or, young children, and they have no clue. So you're going to be in a situation, honey. That's going to be very interesting. Not only do you have to get along with the kid, you have to get along with the baby mama. You see, now this is like stacking up all this work that you have to do. That if you dated a guy who didn't have any kids, you wouldn't have to do. This is like a major exit of energy. And these what you call them, MGTOW people love to talk about why men should not date women with kids. Shit, that's just a two-way street. And these women, I think it's worse on the other side because women they just go crazy when they feel like a man should be loving them. They just get like go ballistic, and it will make your life miserable. I'm not trying to be caught up in no mess like that. So you date the man, right? He got the kid. You basically have to understand the fact that this is a package deal. All three of them come together, or four. I mean, however many kids it is, plus him, plus her. So, at least three, and it could be more. This is a package deal. You have to take one without the other, even if she calls at midnight. Even if she calls in the middle of you getting busy, he's going to pick up that phone and stop everything that's going on with you to talk to her. He's, I don't know. And this one lady, she says, if you ask him, she asked him why, and his response was, well, that's my son's mother. Like that's supposed to make everything that he does, every way he ignores his girlfriend, is justified now because that's his baby's mother. No, Negro, you need to get your shit straight. Number 8. So a lot of you don't want to accept the fact that he's still tapping that. That's why she's acting stupid. That's why she's coming over to your house, calling, stalking you on social media and all this stuff. He's giving her hope. He's telling her stuff like, oh, well, I made a mistake. I should have stayed with you. This ain't gonna last too much longer, babe. Just hang on. I got to do this right. Blah blah blah. So whatever kind of excuse and bullshit he's gonna come up with is basically gonna keep her hanging on and keep her filled with hope that he's gonna one day be back. So she, of course, is anxious. I mean, he says, be patient and all this stuff. And so he's dipping over there every chance he gets, confusing her even more. And you're not privy to any of this conversation. You just see the end result of her jealousy and insecurity playing out. But you don't understand why it's happening. And it's because of his ass. His ashy ass is the one that is at the center of all this upset and drama. So, this is something to think about. It's the same reason why I advise women not to date men who only separated. They're not fully divorced yet. They're just going through the process. Because usually, and I mean seriously, at least 80% of the time, the couple reconcile at least short time because they don't want to they're not ready to let it go yet. And you would be the one caught up in that drama. So same thing applies here. Because these people be dating, 8, 10, 12 years, live together, got 2, 3, 4 kids and all this stuff. You think that the people can just walk away just that easily? There's all it can happen, but it may take years for him to actually fully cut the ties with this woman, and I'm just not willing to wait. And then number 9, she may be acting a fool because she's angry at him because he's leaving all the parenting work to her. He's shirking his parental responsibilities. And what always amazes me is how many women will stay with a dude. They know he's not visiting his kids. They know he's not paying any child support, and he half-ass gives money to take care of the kids. He might buy a pair of shoes every now and then, something like that. You're aware of the fact that that's how he's doing, but yet you stay with him. Why would you want to be with a man who treats his flesh and blood like that? See, I don't get that. And then some of you, then you had the nerve to be getting yourself pregnant, and then talking about, well, he won't take care of my baby. You think? He already had a track record of being a scallywag, not want taking care of what he was supposed to be doing. You already knew he was like that, and then you want to just add to the mix? What you do that for? I'm telling you, this one chick, she was like, well, I was dating him, and um, I was, let's see, okay, so 12 weeks. Okay, so she was a month pregnant when they broke up. That's 4 weeks pregnant, okay? I think you have 6 before you can get like just a regular abortion. Good, I'm telling you, my motherfucker, before the door closed, I would have been at the abortion clinic. It's like, you're not leaving me stuck with this damn baby. Or you over there dance, kicking your heels up and having a good time, and I'm over here saddled down for the next 20 years with this thing? No. No, 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 no. You next time you ask, well, I thought you was pregnant. Nope, not no more. That's would have been my response. But instead, she, decided to go on with the pregnancy. And so at the writing, she was 12 weeks along, and he's acting a fool, and she couldn't understand why. It's like, whatever. But for the mother who, is trying to separate from the dude, but the dude is not acting the way he's supposed to be towards her children, that's going to piss her off. You may set up visitation dates and you don't show up. You're supposed to get, buy them some new backpacks and coats because school starts next week and you don't come through. So now the kids they in some, clothes that's too small because she had to pay the rent, so she can't do both. Not right now. And she was dependent on you to come through the way that you said you were going to. You're making her children suffer. Okay, see, there's no woman in this world that's not going to rear up like a bear and want you to have your head on the wall. So if you he's acting like that, and the mother is going to his job and going to his apartment complex and chasing his ass down the street in her car and all this kind of stuff, understand that he brought that on himself. That has nothing really to do with her being under the crazy thing like I talked about earlier. This is someone who is fighting for her children. And there's a different thing. And if anything, what you need to do is join forces with her and tell him, yeah, get off your ass and get the money and give me, you don't want to go shopping. I can understand. They give me a couple of $100, I'll go get their backpacks and shoes. But they should have those things. And as their father, you agree to provide them for them. You need to come through. So, she's not, like I said, she's not really being trifling or anything like that. She is seeing her kids being harmed emotionally and mentally by their father, and she is going to act a zip damn fool, which she should. All right. So these are some of the things that talk about one reason why women avoid dating the baby daddy and some of the drama that you can experience if you get yourself caught up in that kind of stuff. And for young women with no children, I do not recommend that. If you're, a more mature woman, you're married and divorced, you got a kid, and then this guy comes along, he has a kid, and, you guys can work it out. Okay, that's like two parents together. But it's very mismatched when you have one person who has no children and the other person has one or more. Their lifestyles are different. The demands on their time are so vastly different. And it's really a challenge for the person that doesn't have that kind of responsibilities to understand what's going on. They get very frustrated, and there's a lot of drama, or they feel overburdened because they have to step into a parental role that they really didn't necessarily sign on for. That's your job. So these are some things to think about. If he got feelings for her, or he's engaging in some tipping going on, or if he just really refuses to establish boundaries with the baby mama, you got something to think about for real. Anyway, this is Deb Cooper from survivingdating.com. I'll be back later with another video. I'm still trying to catch up.